The house stood like a palace, its tall marble pillars glowing golden under the late afternoon sun. From the outside it seemed perfect, wealth, power, and silence wrapped in beauty. But inside those walls, where chandeliers sparkled and polished floors reflected grandeur, there was a story no one dared to tell. The story began with a girl named Emily, the daughter of a millionaire named Charles Donovan. She was only 12, with skin pale as porcelain and hair that fell like silk ribbons down her shoulders. Her father believed she was blind. From the day she was born, doctors had told Charles that his daughter's eyes were beautiful but broken, that she would never see the light of the world. And Charles, though devastated, accepted it. He loved her, but his love grew distant over the years, replaced by an overwhelming guilt he never admitted. He buried himself in business, wealth, and the hard shell of a man who didn't know how to grieve. Emily lived in silence most days. She didn't speak much, didn't laugh much, and the house staff had learned not to ask her questions. To them, she was a delicate shadow in silk dresses, drifting from room to room, always carrying her small stuffed rabbit. But someone noticed more than the rest. Her name was Anna, a young maid barely 21 who had joined the Donovan household not long ago. She was not like the other staff. Her eyes carried warmth instead of indifference, and her smile lingered like sunlight in a room where curtains had been drawn too long. She came from poverty, her hands used to scrubbing, her spirit used to enduring. But when she met Emily, something stirred in her heart, something protective, almost motherly. One quiet morning, Anna was dusting the shelves of the study when she noticed Emily sitting by the large window clutching her rabbit. The girl's head was tilted, her eyes fixed on the garden outside. Fixed, not wandering or clouded like the blind often did, but focused, sharp. Anna froze, watching closely. Emily's small lips parted, as though she were holding back a whisper. Then she smiled faintly at a butterfly landing on the glass. Anna's breath caught. Did she just see that? Her hands trembled on the feather duster, but she said nothing. Not yet. She needed to be sure. Over the next few days, Anna began to test her theory in quiet ways. She would place small objects in Emily's path, pretending it was accidental. Emily always avoided them. She would flick her fingers in front of Emily's face, and the girl would flinch ever so slightly. Once, Anna dropped a pearl earring on the floor. Emily's gaze darted toward it for a fraction of a second before she lowered her head again. Anna's heart raced with every discovery. Emily could see. She wasn't blind at all. But why was she hiding it? One evening, as rain pattered against the tall windows, Anna gathered her courage. She found Emily sitting alone in her room, the stuffed rabbit pressed to her chest. "Emily," Anna whispered softly, kneeling beside her. "Can you see me?" The girl's lips quivered, her small hands tightening on the rabbit. For a moment, silence hung heavy in the air. Then Emily's eyes filled with tears, and she gave the slightest nod. Anna felt her chest ache. "Why haven't you told anyone?" Emily's voice was barely a breath. "Because Daddy doesn't believe me. He says I imagine things. When I told him I saw light, he said I was confused. When I told him I saw colors, he cried, and told me never to say it again." Her words cracked Anna's heart in two. Charles Donovan had buried his pain so deeply that he blinded himself to the truth. His daughter had sight, but not freedom. She had learned to hide it, to live in silence, so as not to hurt him again. Anna held Emily close, whispering, "You're not alone anymore. I believe you." From that moment, a secret bond formed between the maid and the child. In stolen hours, Anna began to show Emily the world. She drew pictures for her, pointing out colors: blue of the sky, green of the grass, gold of the sun. Emily would smile, eyes wide with wonder, as though she had been locked in darkness for years and Anna had given her the key. But secrets are fragile things, and in a house where walls had ears, it did not take long for cracks to form. One afternoon, Charles returned home earlier than usual. His footsteps echoed through the grand hall as he made his way to Emily's playroom. He opened the door, only to freeze at the sight before him. Emily holding a crayon, carefully coloring inside the lines of a drawing Anna had made. Her eyes followed every stroke, her little hand moving with precision, Charles's face drained of color. "What is this?" His voice thundered, shattering the fragile peace. Emily gasped, the crayon slipping from her fingers. Anna stood quickly, her heart hammering. "Sir," she began. But Charles cut her off, his voice sharp with accusation. "Have you been filling her head with lies? Making her believe she can see?" His hands trembled, anger fueled by fear. Emily burst into tears. "Daddy, I can see. I've always been able to. You just didn't believe me." The room spun in silence. Charles's eyes flickered with pain, denial, and disbelief all at once. He staggered back a step, as though her words had struck him. Anna stepped forward, her voice steady but full of emotion. "Mr. Donovan, she's not lying. I've seen it with my own eyes. Emily can see. She always could. You've been too afraid to believe her." Charles's jaw tightened. He looked at his daughter, at the tears streaking her cheeks, at the trembling hands clutching the stuffed rabbit. For years he had built walls around his grief, convincing himself it was easier not to hope, not to believe. Because what if it wasn't true? What if hope betrayed him? But now he saw the truth shining in his daughter's eyes, the truth he had ignored for too long. Slowly, painfully, Charles sank to his knees in front of Emily. His strong, proud hands reached out and gently cupped her face. His voice broke as he whispered, "Emily, my angel, can you really see me?" Through her sobs, Emily nodded. "I see you, Daddy. I always have." Charles's tears fell freely then, streaming down the face of a man who had never allowed himself to cry. He pulled her into his arms, holding her as though he would never let go. "I'm so sorry," he whispered over and over. "I'm sorry for not believing you. I'm sorry for hiding behind my fear." Anna stood quietly, tears in her own eyes, as father and daughter clung to each other. For the first time in years, the Donovan mansion felt alive, not with wealth or grandeur, but with love. In the days that followed, Charles changed. He spent more time with Emily, walking with her in the gardens, showing her the world she had longed to explore. He thanked Anna, not just for her honesty, but for her courage, for seeing what he had failed to see. "Sometimes," he admitted to her one evening, "it takes someone with nothing to lose to show a man with everything what truly matters." Anna smiled softly. "All I did was listen." Emily did the rest. The story of Charles and Emily did not end with money or power. It ended with truth, and a beginning born from love. The mansion no longer echoed with silence, but with laughter, with hope, with the sound of a child finally seen for who she was. And Anna? She remained by their side, not as a maid, but as family. For sometimes, the ones we least expect step into our lives to open our eyes, teaching us that sight is not just about what we see, but what we choose to believe. The message lingered. Long after the story was told, kindness and honesty can heal wounds deeper than blindness. And sometimes, the bravest thing we can do is to open our hearts and truly see the people who have been right in front of us all along.